Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our discussion program, Perspectives. Today, we are looking at a topic that often causes strong opinions: beauty pageants. For many years, people have watched these competitions, but there is a big question we want to discuss. Are beauty pageants inherently sexist events? By sexist, we mean, do they treat women unfairly simply because they are women? Do they focus too much on how women look, more than their other qualities? We have two guests with us today who have different views on this important question. First, Maria Rossi, a writer and feminist activist who strongly believes that pageants are harmful and outdated. Welcome, Maria. And second, David Evans, a cultural analyst who has also served as a judge in pageants. David believes that pageants have changed over time and can offer real benefits. Welcome, David. We will begin with opening statements from both Maria and David. Then we will have a discussion, and finally, they will give their closing thoughts. Let's start with Maria Rossi.
Thank you, Sarah. It's important we talk about this. My position is very clear. Yes, beauty pageants are sexist at their core. The main problem is that they judge women primarily based on their physical appearance. This sends a dangerous message to society. It suggests that a woman's value is mostly in how she looks, not what she thinks, what she can do, or who she is as a person. Think about it. We wouldn't judge a scientist or a politician mainly on their hairstyle or their body shape. So why is it acceptable for women in these competitions? It's like judging a book only by its cover, as Sarah mentioned. Furthermore, pageants promote very specific and often unrealistic standards of beauty. They usually show only one type of body, one type of look. This narrow idea of beauty is impossible for most women to achieve. It can lead to serious problems, like low self-esteem, eating disorders, and general unhappiness about one's own body. Pageants make women feel they are never good enough if they don't look a certain way. This pressure starts from a very young age for many girls. Also, many pageants still include parts like the swimsuit competition. This puts women's bodies on display to be judged, almost like objects. We need to ask ourselves, are men judged in the same way in public competitions? Are they asked to walk around in swimwear to show their professional value? Usually no. This difference in treatment is sexism. It reinforces old-fashioned ideas that women are mostly for decoration. Some people say pageants have changed, but I believe the fundamental idea, judging women on beauty, remains the same, and that idea is sexist. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Maria, for sharing your view. I see things differently. While I understand the criticisms, I believe beauty pageants have evolved significantly and are not inherently sexist today. It's not accurate to say they only focus on looks anymore. Modern pageants include many different parts. For example, contestants have detailed interviews with judges. They need to speak clearly about current events, their opinions, and their goals. This shows their intelligence and communication skills. Many pageants also have talent sections where women show skills like playing music, dancing, or public speaking. And very importantly, many require contestants to be involved in charity work or community projects. So it's about much more than just appearance. It's about the whole person, their mind, their talents, and their commitment to helping others. Secondly, pageants can be a very positive experience for the women who participate. They offer valuable opportunities for personal growth. Contestants learn important life skills, like how to speak confidently in public, how to present themselves professionally, and how to handle pressure. Many past participants say the experience helped them build self-confidence. Let's not forget the practical benefits too. Many pageants offer scholarships, money for education. This has helped many young women pay for university and follow their career dreams. Finally, and this is very important, women choose to enter these pageants. They are adults making their own decisions. They find value in the experience, whether it's the skills, the friendships, or the platform it gives them. We should respect their choice and listen to their experiences, not just dismiss the entire activity. So, while pageants might have a complex history, judging them today requires looking at what they actually involve and what they mean to the participants. They can be a platform for achievement and empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you both for those clear opening statements. Maria argues that looks are still the main focus, making pageants sexist. David argues that other elements like interviews and charity work are now very important. David, let's start with you. How much weight does appearance really have in judging today compared to these other elements? And Maria, do you acknowledge that there have been any significant changes, or are they just for show? David.
That's a fair question, Sarah. Of course, appearance is part of a beauty pageant. The name itself suggests that, but its importance has definitely changed. In many modern pageants, the interview section carries a lot of weight, sometimes as much as the swimsuit or evening gown sections, or even more. Judges spend significant time talking to contestants, understanding their views and personalities. We look for intelligence, passion, and the ability to be a good representative or ambassador. Someone who just looks good but cannot speak well or doesn't have thoughtful opinions will not win. Also, the appearance part is often judged more on overall presentation, confidence, stage presence, and health, rather than just ticking boxes for a specific body type. It's about how they carry themselves. The charity work aspect is also increasingly important. Contestants often have a quote, platform, a social issue they care about and work on. This is a major part of their role if they win. So while beauty is acknowledged, it's placed alongside intelligence, talent, service, and personality. The balance has shifted significantly from the past. These changes are real and reflect a move towards valuing the whole person.
Maria, David says the balance has shifted, and interviews and charity work are very important now. Do you see these changes as meaningful?
I hear what David says about interviews and charity work, and I agree those elements are sometimes included now. But I believe these changes are often superficial. They are small changes on the surface of something that is still fundamentally problematic. Let's be honest. The main spectacle, the part that gets the most attention, is still women walking on stage in specific outfits, being judged on how they look. Why is the swimsuit competition still a part of many major pageants if the focus has truly shifted? What does wearing a swimsuit tell us about a woman's intelligence, her leadership potential, or her charity work? Nothing. It exists only to allow judges and the audience to evaluate her body. That is objectification, plain and simple. Even with interviews, the entire event is framed around the idea of finding the most beautiful woman. The visual focus remains central. The history of pageants is rooted in judging women like cattle, and that legacy is hard to escape. Adding an interview question doesn't suddenly make the core concept okay. It feels like trying to put a small bandage on a very deep wound. The message it sends to young girls is still largely about the importance of physical appearance according to narrow standards. The pressure remains.
This brings us to another key point of disagreement. David talks about empowerment, confidence, and opportunities like scholarships that pageants can provide. Maria, you focus on the harm caused by promoting narrow beauty standards and objectification. Maria, can pageants offer any form of genuine empowerment for the women involved, or is it always overshadowed by the sexist framework? And David, how do you respond to the criticism that pageants, even evolved ones, still push outdated, traditional ideas about femininity and women's roles? Maria?
David speaks of empowerment, confidence, and scholarships. These sound like good things, of course. But we need to ask, empowerment at what cost? Is the confidence gained from being judged, quote, according to society's narrow standards truly empowering? Or does it just reinforce the idea that a woman's worth comes from external validation of her looks? There are many other ways for women to gain confidence, develop public speaking skills, and earn scholarships that don't involve being judged on their bodies in swimsuits. Think about debate clubs, sports teams, academic competitions, volunteering organizations. These activities build skills and confidence based on ability and effort, not appearance. Why promote a system that mixes personal development with objectification? Furthermore, who gets access to the supposed empowerment through pageants? Usually, it's women who already fit, or can afford to fit, the very specific beauty standards promoted by the industry. It doesn't empower all women. It often excludes many. So while some individuals might feel empowered, I believe the overall structure contributes to a culture that limits women and judges them superficially. It's not real progress, in my view.
David, Maria questions the nature of this empowerment and suggests there are better, non-sexist ways to achieve similar goals. She also raises the point that it might only benefit women who fit a certain look. Your response?
I understand Maria's concerns, but I think we should listen more to the women who actually participate. Many contestants describe their experience in pageants as incredibly positive and transformative. They talk about overcoming shyness, learning to articulate their thoughts under pressure, forming strong friendships with other contestants, and yes, gaining immense confidence. These are real benefits that have helped them in their careers and personal lives. The scholarships are also a very real benefit. For some women, this is a crucial pathway to higher education that they might not have otherwise. Dismissing this as insignificant isn't fair to them. Regarding the idea of pushing outdated ideas about femininity, I think we need to be careful. Is celebrating femininity or taking pride in one's appearance automatically sexist? I don't believe so. Women should be free to express themselves in different ways. For some, participating in a pageant is a way they choose to do that. It doesn't mean they don't also value intelligence or career success. People are complex. Criticizing pageants often involves telling women that their choices are wrong, or that their feelings of empowerment aren't valid. I believe we should support women's choices, even if we don't personally agree with them, especially when they themselves report positive outcomes. We shouldn't judge their path to self-development.
To conclude, I stand by my position. Beauty pageants, even with some changes, remain fundamentally sexist. Their primary function is still to evaluate and rank women based on physical appearance, which is inherently objectifying and unfair. They promote narrow, often unattainable beauty standards that harm women's self-esteem and contribute to societal pressure. They teach girls that their looks are paramount. While elements like interviews or charity work have been added, they do not change the core sexist nature of judging women's bodies in events like the swimsuit competition. These additions often feel like an attempt to legitimize an outdated concept. We need to move towards a society that truly values women for their intelligence, their character, their actions, and their contributions, not for how well they fit a prescribed beauty ideal. Pageants belong to a past era. We should focus on creating opportunities for women's empowerment that are free from objectification. Thank you.
Thank you. In closing, I want to reiterate that beauty pageants have significantly evolved from their origins. Today, they often emphasize interviews, talent, public speaking, and community service alongside presentation. Judging is more holistic. They provide valuable opportunities for participants, scholarships for education, platforms for social causes, and the development of important life skills like confidence and communication. We have heard this directly from many women who compete. It is crucial to respect the agency and choice of the women who decide to participate. They find personal value and empowerment in the experience, and we should listen to their voices. While acknowledging the criticisms and the need for continued evolution, dismissing pageants entirely as simply sexist ignores the positive impacts and the choices of the women involved. Let's see pageants not as the only path, but as one possible platform among many that some women choose for their personal growth and achievement. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Rossi and David Evans, for this thoughtful and detailed discussion on a complex topic. We've heard strong arguments on both sides, viewing pageants as inherently sexist and objectifying versus seeing them as evolved platforms for women's growth and choice. We hope this conversation has given our viewers plenty to think about. Thank you for watching Perspectives. Good afternoon.